Today, I'm going to be talking about my AI-powered SEO strategy for 2026. This will give you all of the tools that you need in order to grow a website in the coming year with LLMs and things like that included as well. Let's just jump straight into it. So the first thing I want to say is, in my opinion, e-commerce will dominate in 2026. Informational websites are going to take a hit, mainly because of things like Perplexity, ChatGPT, and other things like that. Also, Google AI overviews. AI overviews have effectively replaced featured snippets to a certain extent, and a lot of people are going to be finding a drop in traffic because there's just no need for people to click on your website anymore because they will get the answers directly from Google. Now, the difference with ecom is the reason I think it's going to be safe is, if you think about it, someone still has to click on your website. Like, they can't not buy from your website if you're the one selling that product, right? Let's say you're the only person in the world with that product, just as an example. Then the only way for them to buy that product is to click on your website, go through the checkout, and actually click to buy, right? So ecom, in my opinion, is safe and will continue to be safe probably for the next 5 or 10 years before, agents start reading our brains and ordering directly from, websites or businesses, etc., etc. Now, ecom is kind of sacred in my opinion. Also, if you think about it, Google is going to want to protect people's income, and for Google, a blog, it's almost like a net negative for them because they don't make as much money from someone who runs a blog compared to someone who might buy a shitload of ads for their e-com business. So they have a vested interest in making sure that e-commerce continues. Now, if you do have an e-com and you're on Shopify, then definitely check out SEO Growth. It'll be either the first link or the second link in the description or the pinned comment. It is my SaaS. It's an agentic Shopify automator, and it will actually work. All you have to do is turn everything on, and it will literally start to grow your Shopify website for you. We currently have a waitlist. The waitlist won't be around for much longer, so definitely check out SEO Growth before we move up to the higher pricing. Okay, number two is ranking on LLMs is so important. Now, these ones here, they're all actually related. I have a few different ways that I've picked up over the last few weeks, and I'm going to teach you guys them right now. So ranking on LLMs is so important, but how can you actually rank on LLMs? Now, the first method is called press releases, right? Now, a lot of people, what they do is they use something like Presswire, right? And I think it's like, how much is it? I actually have no idea how much it costs. Pricing and comparison chart. So for a basic fee, $149, you get one single press release with one country, etc., etc., right? What this actually does, you can see, ingested by prominent AI and LLM infrastructures. This is a new thing that they've added. Effectively, because the websites that you're getting posted to are considered to be good sources by LLMs, you can actually kind of cheat to get to the top of LLMs using press releases, right? This isn't an ad for Presswire. I'm not affiliated with Presswire in any way, shape, or form. But I do know, or I've been hearing recently, that ordering a Presswire will actually get you into LLMs because you can see it actually even says ingested by prominent AI and LLM infrastructures. The rest of these are kind of bullshit. I've never really liked press releases, but I think this right here is actually super, super important, and it does actually work. So, for example, if you did a press release like, this is the best AI SEO tool in the world, and then you push that across, effectively what will happen is when someone searches best AI tool on ChatGPT or Google or whatever, hopefully, potentially, and quite likely, what will happen is that source that you paid for will be picked up by the LLM. It won't know that you paid for it. They're not that sophisticated yet. And it will actually use that source as a source for their answer, right? So this is one super interesting way. I believe this is the current best way to cheat, or cheat in inverted commas. It's not even grey hat, I would say. This is definitely white hat. I wouldn't say this is cheating, but yeah, it does cost money. Maybe you can find them for cheaper as well. Also, obviously posting like to Reddit and things like that will also help. But this is just if you don't want to do any work at all and you just want to pay a company to do a press release, I believe personally that this is a very, very good way to rank on LLMs. Now, the second one, you can use JSON schema to rank on LLMs. Now, JSON schema is something that Google kind of stopped caring about. But if you don't know how JSON schema actually works, if you put JSON schema at the very top of a page, invisible to users in the head, right? So it goes here, JSON schema. Then the first thing that ChatGPT or whatever will read when they go on this page is your JSON schema, right? So if you do a fairly kind of gray hat approach to this, where you have like not spammy, but like Google would probably ignore your JSON schema, but if you do a certain specific JSON schema that is specific for LLMs, in my opinion, that will also help you get picked up by LLMs because it's the first thing they read, right? They're not going to necessarily read things at the bottom. This is just how LLMs work, right? So if you have JSON schema at the top saying like, I don't know, this is the best AI tool 2026, right? Then there is potential for it to pick up the title, the meta title, the meta description, all of the content, but also an added bonus, the JSON schema as well. Now, in my opinion, this is something that nobody knows about, or no, not nobody knows about, but like nobody knows whether this is true or false, right? This hasn't really been tested. But I am currently testing this with SEO Growth. One of the features of SEO Growth is that it will create JSON schema that is good for Google, but it's also good for LLMs as well. And it should help my clients and customers rank well on LLMs. So yeah, super, super interesting, and definitely check out JSON schema. It's not something that has been that popular in the last year or two because Google had an algorithm update where they basically said schema would no longer be considered, but in my opinion, they never stopped considering it, and I've always found it to be quite useful to have good JSON schema. Now, the final one, which is one that I haven't heard anywhere, right, is to actually create PDFs. Now, this is something that hasn't been talked about in SEO for years and years and years now, I would say. Probably 3 to 4 years since anyone has talked about using PDFs to do SEO. And it might seem really stupid, but if you think about it, if you like ask ChatGPT a question, one of the things it does is it attempts to find a huge or a wide variety of different resource types. This is just generally true with LLMs. They don't like to just look at one or two things. They try and kind of build a bigger picture. Now, if you think about it, right, everyone has a blog, everyone has images, everyone has, I don't know, etc., right? But not everyone has PDFs. So what does that mean? It means, and by the way, guys, it's confirmed, it's actually been confirmed by research that ChatGPT doesn't just look at the first page of Google, right? It doesn't just look at 1 to 10, it actually looks at 1 to 100. And your chances of ranking with a PDF on Google in the first 100, not in the first 10, but in the first 100, are actually extremely high, which means that the chance of ChatGPT seeing your PDF is extremely high. And it probably won't find that many PDFs because not that many people are doing PDFs on Google, right? So what does that mean? If we create PDFs, we're in the minority of people who have PDFs on our website, and therefore we're in the minority of people that ChatGPT can draw as a reference from your website. Now, obviously, everything else, like, alt tags on images, having lots of images, all that shit, that's all obvious stuff, right? I've tried to keep this to things that are a little bit kind of less meta and less obvious to people. And in my opinion, having PDFs or whatever other file types there could be, I don't actually know what other file types you could rank on Google or that you could host, etc. Maybe GIFs, whatever it is, ChatGPT will consider them over other resources because, like, if it does a search and it finds 99 blogs, right, for the topic and one PDF, it's almost guaranteed to use this PDF as a resource because it doesn't just want to be like, oh, here's 99 blogs condensed into an answer for you, and it might be bullshit. But what sounds better to ChatGPT is, oh, okay, so let's take 8 blogs and 1 PDF, right? I hope this makes sense. I really think that this is a really good way to go. So like, what kind of PDFs could you create? You could think about, what you're trying to rank for specifically. So we're trying to rank for Kiton on Google or whatever. So we could make a PDF on, how amazing Kiton is. We host it on our website. We make sure it's indexable. We make sure it's picked up by Google. And then maybe, just maybe, it will then start to be picked up by LLMs, Perplexity, Google overviews, ChatGPT, etc., etc. I'll leave the video there, guys. This was just a very quick overview of everything that I'm going to be doing in 2026 to continue to grow mine and other people's websites. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching all the way to the end of the video, as usual, you're an absolute legend, and I'll see you very, very soon with some more content. Peace out.